on the streets of Las Vegas, full of glittering lights and nightlife, where people usually come to try their luck, something happened that shook the whole city. Two masked attackers suddenly targeted a family. They were unarmed, tired, and had no idea that in a few minutes they were going to face the biggest robbery in the history of Las Vegas. This is the story of a gang that looted an ATM cash depository and escaped with more than $500,000 in cash. This was no ordinary robbery. The entire operation was executed with great planning and timing. Every move, every second was straight out of a heist movie script. But it doesn't end there. As the police and the FBI chase the clues, the story takes a turn. A murder, a bold jailbreak, and finally a confrontation where a criminal is even ready to put his own family at stake. On the night of December 21st, 1998, there was a strange silence in the cold winds of Las Vegas. There was less movement on the streets. But something was about to happen whose echo would be heard for years. A couple and her 18-year-old sister who ran a janitorial service. Janitorial service means professional service of daily cleaning and maintenance of offices, schools, and buildings. They were getting ready for their work like every day. But that night their routine was about to break. As soon as they reached their van, two masked men suddenly came running and forcibly pushed them inside. That night, which was supposed to be a normal shift, had now turned into a long story of terror and captivity. The women screamed and cried, but nothing changed. The gunmen blindfolded them, tied their hands. Fear had now settled in their breaths, and that silence was broken by only one voice. "Cartu, are you in position?" These robbers knew the entire daily routine of the janitorial team. They knew that these people start cleaning the Bank of America building every night at 11 p.m. Now that schedule had become a weapon. The gang was exploiting that time and place perfectly for their benefit. The van was taken to the same place where this team used to park every day. The robbers knew that if something went wrong, then the whole plan could fail. One by one, the hostages were taken out of the van, and the next phase of Las Vegas's most daring heist began. Now, the building where these people used to go to clean every night was not an ordinary office. It was a central ATM repository of Bank of America, a high-security place where every night the cash withdrawn from more than 1,200 ATMs was deposited, and sometimes more than $1 cash was deposited there in just one night. The robbers knew everything beforehand. They forcibly took the key card and security code from the staff, and the bank's alarm system was completely bypassed. One by one, they were pushed inside the building. But after this, something happened which no one had even thought of. The gunman looked at the couple and said in a cold, strict voice, "Do your work. Clean the building like you do every day." Now, this was not just a robbery. It had become a mind game. Both of them understood. If they did anything wrong or tried to ask for help in any way, the consequences could be terrible. The gunman kept the 18-year-old sister with himself. She had now become a hostage through whom he was controlling the couple. The gunman said, "Now go and clean up. Don't act. Do your work." Now their every step, every breath was under surveillance, and every mistake could cost a life. It was 11:30, and then an armored cash truck entered the parking lot of Bank of America. As per routine, the guards called the security company before going inside the bank. They asked if there has been any unauthorized entry. The answer comes no. There are only generators inside. Everything seems normal. When the guards look at the parking, they see the same van that comes every night. The atmosphere of the building, the lighting, and the movement inside, everything was exactly the same as it is every night. They did not suspect anything. But inside, the couple who were doing routine work as generators, their heart was beating fast. There was fear in their eyes and only one thought in their mind. If we say something, make any gesture, then that girl can die. So they did not say anything. Not even a single word, just kept working like they did every day. But this time, every moment was passing in the shadow of death. As soon as the guards opened the vault of the bank, in which the cash deposits of that night were kept, a huge amount of money was already ready in front of them. $1, 88,000 packed in shrink wrap, as if someone just had to pick it up and take it away. But then lie down. Put your hands up. Gunmen suddenly come out and overpower both the guards at gunpoint. One guard tries to say or do something, But the decision of that moment is only one the bullet hits the ground in the chaos and then hits a guard directly in the chest. That guard fell on the ground, breathing fast, pain on his face but still conscious. As soon as the bullet hit, the robbers did not waste a moment and ran away from there. Only one injured guard and his partner were left behind, who was in shock. He immediately picked up the phone, dialed emergency, and said in a trembling voice, "My partner has been shot. I need an ambulance immediately, please." In a few minutes, the FBI reaches the spot. Special Agent Henry Schlump was leading. Now this case was in federal jurisdiction. According to Agent Schlump, everyone was scared. It was going to take some time to talk to someone and get the real story, because the robbers were wearing masks. Therefore, we had very general information about their identity. The description that was received was something like this: 2 males who could be either Caucasian black or Hispanic. Height around 6 feet to 6 feet 3 inches. Weight about 200 pounds. That's all. No name, no vehicle number, no clear face. In such a situation, every small detail also mattered a lot. When the janitors were questioned, they shared a small but very important detail. They told that when the robbers entered the bank, they were surprised for a moment seeing the number of CCTV cameras installed there, as if they had no idea that there would be so many cameras there. This one thing makes the FBI and local agencies think, if this was an inside job, then did the robbers not know about the cameras beforehand? Was this whole heist not as planned as it seemed? The investigation moves forward, and then a witness comes forward. A truck driver who had gone to make a late-night delivery to a nearby shop that night. What he saw becomes the first solid lead of this case. The driver told that I saw 2 men running out of the bank and throwing some bags in a white Chevette S10 pickup truck. Then that truck left from there quickly, as if nothing had happened. Now, for the first time, the police had something concrete. No face, no name, but vehicle, a white JVS 10 pickup truck. Sometimes a single clue is all it takes to solve a case, and this was probably the one. As soon as the police got information about the white Chevy S10 pickup truck, all units were alerted. Search orders were spread throughout the area because now they had a target. It wasn't long before the same truck was found parked on a residential street exactly a quarter-mile away. When the license plate of the truck was checked, a shocking truth was revealed. The truck was actually a Las Vegas Metro Police Department police maintenance vehicle that had been stolen a week earlier. Now the investigation reached the people of that street. A woman whose house was the closest to that spot told the police, "I didn't see anyone get out of that truck, but earlier that evening another truck was parked in the same spot. It was another truck, a white GMC dually, a pickup truck with 4 tires on the back, usually used for carrying heavy loads or commercial transport. Investigators suspected that the robbers had swapped vehicles. This is an old and effective way to confuse the police. Leaving the Chevette S10 nearby and the real getaway being a GMC dually made it clear that these were not amateurs. Now, the police issued an all-points bulletin APB for the GMC truck as well. APB means a message from the police which is sent everywhere so that a criminal or vehicle can be found quickly. A few hours later, there was a news of relief. The guard who was shot had undergone surgery, and his life was saved. But along with that relief, there was also a big loss. The next day, the bank confirmed that $88,000 cash had been stolen, the biggest bank robbery in the history of Las Vegas. The FBI still believed that it was probably not an inside job, but still no possibility was ignored. Armored truck guards, bank staff, everyone was questioned. Some were also made to undergo polygraph test, i.e. lie detector test. But no clue was found that could raise suspicion on anyone. FBI agent Henry said, "It seemed that the robbers might have observed the routine of the bank and the guards for several days, and from that they might have got all the necessary information. Despite all the efforts till now, no concrete lead was found. The investigation seemed to have come to a dead end. In such a situation, the officials of Bank of America and the Armored Car Company decided to announce a reward amount so that if anyone has any information, he can come forward. Special Agent Henry suggested a reward of $0. This is considered a huge amount in bank robbery cases, And in this case, it was very important to arouse public interest. After this, FBI agents also started involving the local authorities. Airports were alerted if a person tries to travel with a large amount of cash. It should be reported immediately. All jails were instructed to report if a person tries to pay bail in cash. Exactly a week later, the FBI receives a call. The call was made to the security team of Macon Airport. Someone had asked over the phone, will a large amount of cash trigger a metal detector? The airport security had saved that caller ID, and now it was handed over to the FBI. As soon as the FBI traced that caller ID, it was found that the call was made from a suburban house. The agents started monitoring the house. Every half an hour someone would come and go. There was a pattern, but nothing could be understood. Was this a place for some illegal activity? Or just a big misunderstanding? After observing for several hours, the agents decided that now we should talk directly. Hello, I am Investigator Davis from Las Vegas Police Department, and this is Special Agent Reed from FBI. The door was opened by a woman who did not look very serious at all. She was a piano teacher who taught half-hour classes to children. She was going to Utah soon and had about $3,000 in cash with her. She had called the airport to find out if such a large amount of cash could trigger an alert in a metal detector. When the FBI understood the whole matter, it became clear that this lead was useless. Now the agents were once again standing where they had started. The clues had ended and so had the hopes. But the same day, circumstances suddenly changed. Las Vegas Metro Police received a call from a woman who had seen the reward poster and now wanted to come forward. She claimed that she had very important information related to the bank robbery. The agent asked her directly, "Tell me about your stripper friend." The woman replied, "Her name is Jennifer." She told that Jennifer is a dancer in a local strip club, and lately she has been spending a lot of cash. Clothes, jewelry, parties, everything had suddenly changed, and this change alerted the FBI. The woman also gave Jennifer's phone number. When the FBI traced that number, it was found that the number belonged to a rented trailer home. Now surveillance had begun on the trailer. Every movement, every visitor, every car and call was being monitored. A few minutes later, a wide GMC truck stops in front of that trailer home, the same model that the robbers had used to escape. Without delay, the agents checked the number plate of that truck. According to the registration records, that truck was in the name of a man living in Las Vegas, Timothy Blackburn. As soon as the truck was identified as belonging to Timothy Blackburn, the surveillance team immediately informed Special Agent Henry. Now, the FBI had such a strong lead that they got a search warrant for the trailer home. Now it was time for action. The SWAT team was alerted. SWAT team means Special Weapons and Tactics. This is a specially trained police team which handles very dangerous and high-risk missions. The target was very clear. The suspects could be armed and dangerous, as one of the guards had already been shot. The team reached the trailer. The door was knocked, but there was no response. A few seconds of suspense, and then the door was broken. The search warrant was executed. A man was found inside the trailer. He introduced himself as Raleigh Beds and said, "Jennifer is my girlfriend." Now the agents were divided into two groups. One team started searching the trailer home, while the other team reached the strip club where Jennifer worked as a dancer. "It is the FBI. We have to ask you some questions." Jennifer looked up, a little nervous, a little ready. "About what?" "You have been spending a lot of cash lately." Jennifer's answer was cold and straight. "That money is my own. I have been dancing for the last 4 years. I don't know anything about any theft or robbery." While searching the trailer, the agents found something that caught everyone's attention. A heavy-duty safe that looked brand new. No scratches, no dust, no old marks on it, as if it had been brought there recently. This was really strange. The entire trailer was filled with garbage. Scattered clothes, empty boxes, broken things. No one could say that a rich person was living there. But in the midst of that mess, a new, shiny, expensive safe was kept. "What is its combination?" Without blinking, Riley said, "This safe belongs to my girlfriend. Only she can open it." The agent called Jennifer without wasting any time. "Hello, Jennifer. Tell me the combination of the safe." Jennifer's answer was cold and clear. This is not my safe. It belongs to my boyfriend. I don't know any number of it. The question was repeated, now with a little sternness. What is the combination of the safe? Jennifer said again, I told you it is not mine. Riley has the combination, not me. Now the situation had become even more complicated. The line between truth and lie was getting blurred. Both were shifting responsibility on each other. Now the agents returned to Riley Bates. He was told that his own girlfriend has said that he has the combination. A few seconds of silence, a little evasion, and then Riley told the combo. A small number, which was probably going to open the door to that $1 million mystery. As soon as the safe was opened, the FBI found inside $0 cash and bags full of marijuana. The agent asked with a stern look, "What is all this?" Riley answered without getting nervous, "I was just selling marijuana." "Marijuana," repeated the agent. Riley claimed that he had earned all this money by selling drugs, and he did not know anything about any bank robbery. But the FBI was sure he was lying, because the biggest question still remained. Where is the rest of the money? Over $1 million was stolen, and only $0 was found. December 1998, Las Vegas, a violent bank robbery occurs. A guard is shot, and the robbers make off with over $1 million. The leads lead the FBI to a trailer home, where a new safe containing $0 and cash and drugs is found. Jennifer Artem, an exotic dancer, says she made the money dancing. Her boyfriend, Riley Bates, says he made the money selling marijuana. But the FBI doesn't want excuses anymore. They want the truth. Now the FBI's top interviewer joins the case. Special Agent Brad Shields. His mission was clear. Get the truth out of Riley. Where did this money come from? You're in big trouble. Agent Shields pulled him out of the trailer and into his car. Riley's comfort zone was gone. Now you're in big trouble, Shields repeated. Riley Bates was smart, but also scared. He was beginning to realize that the case was out of his control. Money was found. Drugs were found. Now it wasn't enough. He kept repeating, I made this money selling marijuana. But that was the truth. If he was really making that much money, would he still be living in a cheap trailer? Agent Shields turned up the pressure. You know you're in big trouble, right? I don't know what you're talking about, said Riley, avoiding eye contact. But now he was breaking down. The agents gave him hope. If you tell the truth, we can help you with the marijuana charges. Riley was now worried about only one thing. His name should not be linked to the bank robbery. And then I have not committed any robbery. Riley said. Agent Shield was now close. He felt that the truth was just 2 questions away. So he asked the next question. Okay, Riley, if you did not commit the robbery, do you know who did it? Riley thought for a few seconds. Then he said, it was done by my brother Robert and his friend Tim. Seriously, yes. Where's Tim right now? I don't know. Seriously, I don't know where both of them are. The FBI could not find Robert's location. But some new clues were found in the search of the trailer, gaming chips and receipts of Luxor Casino. Now, the FBI agents directly contacted the Luxor Hotel. The hotel management confirmed. Robert Bates is currently staying in our hotel. What the hotel security team told was even more shocking. Robert had been partying continuously since then. He was paying for everything in cash. According to the guest portfolio, Robert had started spending a large amount of money from the night of the robbery. FBI agents started monitoring his hotel room. They were just waiting for when he would return. When Robert returned to the hotel, it was clear from his gestures and condition. He was drunk. Special Agent Henry said that if someone is completely drunk, then there is no point in interviewing him. Robert was taken into custody. Robert Bates' hotel room was searched, and the FBI found drugs, a gun, and about $5,000 cash from there. But still about $1 million was missing. Now the focus of the FBI agents went directly to the other name that Rayleigh had told, Team Blackburn. The FBI set up surveillance outside Team Blackburn's house. Local police and federal agents were stationed in positions all around. But Blackburn was not an ordinary man. He had been investigated for armed robbery earlier also. Tim had become a part of the FBI and was considered a highly dangerous suspect. Tim was around 26 years old, 6 feet 3 inches tall, and weighed 230 pounds. He was a martial arts expert, a lover of weapons, and a trained, accurate shooter. The FBI's criminal apprehension team was now fully action-ready. Special Agent Castle Nishimoto was a part of this tactical unit. He said, "My job was to keep an eye on the roads. I knew he would be armed, but I was confident that I would see him soon." The FBI agents were just reaching close to Tim Blackburn's house when an SUV came on the same road at high speed. The vehicle suddenly picked up speed and started moving straight toward the agents. Everything happened in just a few seconds. The driver lost control of the vehicle for a moment. The SUV suddenly stops, and then a man jumps out and starts running straight. The agents immediately guess that this is Tim Blackburn. The man runs toward the back boundary and starts breaking walls one by one. Goes on tearing. There is chaos everywhere. The FBI and local police surrounded the entire area. The search operation had started. But as soon as the driver of the SUV was identified, the truth turned out to be something else. That man was not Tim. The SUV was being driven by Blackburn's sister-in-law, who was either intentionally helping Tim or there was some other plan going on at that time. The FBI immediately took her into custody. Now, the FBI and Las Vegas police started a house-to-house search operation in the entire area. Every street, every corner was now under the eyes of the law. A Key 9 unit caught the scent of the suspect just a few blocks away. Tim Blackburn was found hiding under a deck in the backyard of a house. He was tracked by a K-9 team. He had a mask and a holster tied to his leg. Holster means a leather or cloth cover or case for keeping a pistol, which is usually tied on the waist, shoulder, or leg. Luckily, that holster was empty. His gun had fallen on the way while jumping over the walls. The FBI immediately started questioning Tim Blackburn and his wife, Sophia. The agents asked direct questions because we know that you know everything, and also that you know where the money is. Now tell us where the money is. The agents offered Tim a deal, a lesser punishment if he admitted to being involved in the robbery. But Blackburn refused once again. "I don't have any money. If you can't see it, then understand that there is nothing here." Even now, he was denying everything. Now began the detailed forensic search of the house. A search that was not just police or investigation, but a scientific investigation. No rush, no guesswork. Just everything was examined methodically. Every item was first photographed. Every room was thoroughly searched one by one, and finally the places outside the house were searched. During this, the agents found some important evidence. Flex cuffs exactly like the ones used to tie generators, walkie-talkies, and surveillance equipment. This was not just a theft, but a robbery with military-level planning. And then in the morning, the agents searched the doghouse in Tim Blackburn's backyard. Several duffel bags were found there. "I could not believe that he hid the money in the doghouse." Agent Henry said, but then thought that maybe it was not such a bad idea, because usually no one checks that place. As soon as the bags were opened, they found more than $9 lakh cash, i.e., about 90% of the stolen amount. So many days of search, interrogation, lies, and pursuit. Now the money was in front, which shook the whole of Las Vegas. It took about 10 hours for the FBI agents to count the money found in the duffel bags. Every note, every bundle had become a witness to the robbery of Bank of America that night. By 4 p.m. it was clear. Yes, this was a stolen cash. Now the matter had come to a legal turn. The U.S. District Court charged Tim Blackburn and Robert Bates with bank robbery, kidnapping, carjacking, and violent crime with weapons. They were sent to the North Las Vegas Detention Center. But the FBI's work was still not over. The agents were sure that Blackburn and Bates were not alone in this plan. A heist of this level cannot be carried out by just two people together. Every detail, every movement, every getaway step was not possible logistically without the help of such an operation and people. Now the eyes of suspicion fell on Sophia Blackburn, Tim's wife. Her words, her answers, her body language did not seem convincing from any angle. An agent said, "I went to Sophia's house many times to talk to her. Every time I found something that was not normal." Sophia Blackburn claimed that she did not know anything about the robbery. She also said that she was with Tim the whole night on the night of the robbery, but she had no answer for the money, surveillance gear, and the stuff found from a house. She was scared. Her husband was in jail, and she had to take care of 2 young daughters alone. She tried to cooperate, but the stories she was telling were so contradictory and illogical that it was hard to believe them. She knew if she said anything that Team Black would be arrested if Burns was proven guilty. Her family would have been broken forever, and so she kept quiet. The FBI was now sure that Sophia would never speak against the team. August 11th, 1999, 7 months after the $1 million robbery. Sophia Blackburn comes to the jail to meet her husband, Tim. As she sits in the visiting booth, Tim whispers softly, "Don't tell them where I am." A small tool attached to Sophia's keychain was now in her palm. She quietly starts loosening the screws of the visiting window. "How are the children?" Tim asks. "Absolutely fine." Sophia answers with a smile. From outside, it looked like a normal meeting, but inside, every moment of a synesthetic jailbreak was being set. As soon as the guard went out for a few seconds, the team took action. He quickly removes a bulletproof glass and jumped straight into the salad-pot. Salad-pot is a security system in which there are 2 gates. When one closes, the other opens. Tim times those moments perfectly and escapes by dodging the security barriers. But the most shocking part of the story was yet to come. As soon as he comes out of jail, Sophia takes a step that shakes the whole country. Sophia had already made preparations. She had already hidden a gun outside the jail, and as soon as Tim comes out of jail, she picks up the gun and throws it away. Sirens start ringing. The alarm is activated in the whole jail. The guards come into action, but now it was too late. A dangerous firefight begins between Blackburn and the guards. Sounds of gunfire reverberate. There is panic in the whole jail. August 11th, 1999, Tim Blackburn, the main accused of the biggest bank robbery in the history of Las Vegas, escapes from a jail with the help of his wife, Sophia. And now, this was not just a story of a robbery. It was a cinematic jailbreak. FBI Special Agent Henry says, "We tried to arrest him, but he shot at us." Tim's plan was to escape in a pickup truck that was pre-parked near the prison. But as soon as the guards started firing, Tim had to leave that truck, and then another vehicle came and stopped at a high speed. Sophia Blackburn had arrived to pick Tim up in an Isuzu rodeo SUV. Within a few seconds, both of them sit in the SUV and get out of the firing range of the guards. The FBI agents could not believe that Team Blackburn had really managed to escape from the prison. Many people want to escape from the prison. Many try, but very few are able to escape. This was proving once again that Team Blackburn was unpredictable and dangerous. Now FBI agents Henry and Brad Shields started tracking Blackburn's relatives. In a short time, the agents found out an apartment building where his sister-in-law lived. As soon as the agents reached outside that apartment building, they saw the same road SUV that was used during the prison break. Its number plate was immediately checked. The SUV was registered in the name of Sophia Blackburn. As soon as they saw the car, their hearts started beating fast. Adrenaline was at its peak now. Every second, every sound now seemed like a threat. Since this was now a case of escaping from federal custody, this responsibility had now also become that of the U.S. Marshals. The FBI immediately called its U.S. Marshals unit. Until then, the agents kept sitting near the SUV. They did not know when Team Blackburn was going to return. Would they have to face the same SUV directly in the next few seconds? And would this confrontation happen before the U.S. Marshals arrived? Every second had become a big question. After some tension, the U.S. Marshals team reached the apartment building where Blackburn's sister-in-law's address was found, and they talked normally to the people living in the building and asked for permission to search. The sister-in-law gave permission, and the FBI and the Marshals searched the apartment. But Blackburn was not present there. The Isuzu Road SUV used in the jailbreak was found parked outside the building, and when its number plate was checked, it was found to be registered in the name of Sophia Blackburn, due to which it was immediately confiscated. When the agents asked Blackburn's sister-in-law where Tim was, she said that she did not know anything. And when asked how Sophia's SUV came there, while her real car was a Nissan Pathfinder, she replied that the car was under repair. When the FBI checked the repair information, it was revealed that this story was false, and the agents were convinced that Tim and Sophia were now absconding in the same Nissan Pathfinder. When the agents asked the sister-in-law where that car was, she said, "I do not know." After this, the FBI started an intensive search operation in the entire area. But for the next 1 week, no trace of Tim Blackburn, Sophia, or their 2 young children was found. 9 days later, a Las Vegas police helicopter spotted a Nissan Pathfinder parked in the middle of the desert, and a family of 4 was also standing nearby. The FBI and local police immediately reached there and surrounded the entire area from all sides. The FBI SWAT team was led by Special Agent Castle Nishimoto. The team was on a high peak, and there were some vehicles in the valley in front. People were visible, but from such a distance, it was difficult to make out whether they were Tim and Sophia or someone else. If the agents went closer, they would have to go through an open field, which was a path with absolutely no cover and straight into danger. The FBI was well aware that Tim Blackburn was an expert shooter, and even a small mistake could prove fatal. Still, when everything seemed uncertain, Agent Henry decided to drive down himself so that he could go closer and see with his own eyes who was there. Doing this was a very courageous act because there were only snipers there who could provide cover from a distance, and their shot was also from a distance of about 300 to 400 yards. As Agent Henry Schlumpf reached the family, their faces became clearly visible, and then he understood that these were not the people they were looking for. This was not Tim Blackburn and his family. The FBI had found another dead end. But this time Henry realized another important thing, that he could not run an operation on such a large scale every time. Because this time, due to just one suspicion, about 100 vehicles were deployed in the entire area. SWAT, police, forensic team, everything was deployed at one place.
Henry was thinking that if he kept going into the field every time on someone's orders without any solid clue, then all his resources would soon be exhausted. But giving up was not an option for anyone. Neither for the FBI, nor for the U.S. Marshals, nor for the system that wanted to see Blackburn behind bars again. The very next night, all the agencies together decided that now full force will be applied and no stone will be left unturned. A special team of 40 people was formed, which included FBI, U.S. Marshals, local police, Henderson Department, and detention center staff. The plan was clear. Every person associated with Blackburn would be interviewed by the team. Every relative's house would be searched, and every vehicle in which there was a suspicion of his arrival would be checked. At the same time, the U.S. Marshals informed the FBI that they had seen a suspect who looked like Tim Blackburn and might be him. On receiving this news, the FBI and the local police immediately reached the spot. FBI agent Henry Schlumpf said that he reached there just at the time when the marshals were catching the man whom they thought was Tim Blackburn. But as soon as Henry saw his face, he immediately understood. It was not Tim. It was his younger brother, and he was taken into custody. But this turn made it clear that Tim Blackburn was still absconding, and with every step the case was getting more complicated. His younger brother, who looked exactly like Tim, was a little younger and of a shorter height, but could not escape the eyes of suspicion. And when his ID was checked, it was found that his driving license was made just a day before. When the agents asked where is the old license, he directly replied that it is lost. But investigators were certain that Tim Blackburn's younger brother had purposely given him his old driving license, so he could use it as a fake ID and avoid detection. When his car was searched, a note from Tim Blackburn was found asking his brother for money. A man who once had $1 million was now hiding his identity and asking his younger brother for a loan to stay alive. The FBI arrested Tim's brother for helping a fugitive criminal, and his sister-in-law was also arrested for lying that the Nissan Pathfinder was in repairs. The car used by Tim and Sophia to escape. Now that Tim Blackburn's 2 family members were behind bars, the FBI came up with a new plan. a way to force Tim out on his own. A violent Las Vegas bank robber who broke out of prison with the help of his wife. Now, for the last 3 days, he was constantly on the run, and this was the time when the FBI decided that now pressure would have to be increased on him. The FBI now chose a person who could have a direct impact on Team Blackburn. A bouncer who was Tim's close friend and worked in a gentleman's club. Most of the people who knew Tim either liked him or were afraid of him, and both types of people avoided giving information. This friend was also initially a bit suspicious. He did not want to say it. But after a while he told him something important. The day Tim escaped from jail, he had called him. Tim's voice was on the phone. I am outside, and the sound of police sirens could be clearly heard in the background. The FBI agents told the friend, "You're the last person Team Blackburn talked to, and we think he will call you again, and when he calls, tell him that we have arrested both his brother and sister-in-law. And whoever is helping him will have to pay the price for this." All this was being done with only one purpose: to put pressure on Tim. To make him realize that now he has no way left. Neither to hide nor to run away, and maybe he will surrender himself. The next morning the same friend called. He told that Team Blackburn had called again, and he repeated exactly the same things that the FBI had already taught. That friend said, "I told him that his brother and sister-in-law have been arrested." When the FBI agent asked what did he say, the friend's answer was that he was angry. Very angry. Now about 2.5 weeks had passed since the jailbreak, and on the same day FBI agent Henry Schlumpf received a call. The call was from an officer of Las Vegas SWAT unit, who talked to a person like this who was claiming that he knew the location of Team Blackburn. Henry was suspicious at first. He was not sure that Blackburn would make the mistake of coming back to Las Vegas. But then he asked the SWAT officer just one question. Ask him if he knows the names of Tim's daughters? And the answer came yes. He knows. This was enough to understand that the man really knew Blackburn. Infant told that the team is currently hiding in a long-term motel. FBI agent Henry Schlumpf immediately left for that location with 2 SWAT officers. After reaching the motel, the FBI agents showed the pictures of Tim and Sophia to the manager and asked, "Have you ever seen these two?" The manager thought for a while and then answered, "No. I have never seen them before, and they are not even registered in our hotel." But Agent Henry was still suspicious. The suspicion was still alive. So Henry decided that he would rent a room himself and keep an eye on the entire property from there. On the other hand, the SWAT officers checked the number of every car parked in the parking lot of the motel. But none of the vehicles were stolen and none bore the name of Blackburn or her acquaintances. It seemed that this lead would also turn out to be false, but the FBI did not give up. Now they prepared the next plan. A security guard in the entire apartment complex would knock on every door on the pretext of noise complaint. And when the guard knocked on the door of an apartment, the door opened and Sophia Blackburn came out. She looked absolutely normal. She was smiling and she directly asked what was going on outside. Agent Henry says, "I could not believe my eyes." She was standing in front looking absolutely normal as if nothing had happened in the last 17 days. Now the suspicion deepened because if Sophia is there, then is Team Blackburn hiding in the same apartment? As soon as Agent Henry Schlumpf saw Sophia, he did not waste even a second and immediately called backup. Within a few minutes, the FBI's Criminal Apprehension Team, SWAT unit, U.S. Marshals, and many patrol units reached that location. The entire building was surrounded, and every apartment was evacuated, except for that one apartment where the agents were sure that Team Blackburn was hiding. Now everyone was ready, and then the FBI did what they do in 99% of fugitive cases. The FBI's Criminal Apprehension Team called that apartment, and as soon as the call was received said, "I want to talk to Team Blackburn." Standard protocol of the team, this is what happens. They tell the other person in clear words, "We know you are inside. You have been surrounded from all sides. There is no way to get out. So, it would be better if you come out peacefully. We just want all this to end without any harm." Agent Henry Schlumpf was standing there. He was waiting for Team Blackburn to open the door any time and come out. He was thinking that now Tim would be sent to the same prison from where he had escaped, or to some new high-security detention center. But a few minutes passed, and Tim did not come out. Then a member of the team said, "Agent Henry, He wants to talk to you. The phone was handed over to Henry. He received the call. Hello, Tim. The same voice came from the other side. It was Tim Blackburn.
Now Henry's only responsibility was to keep him on the phone, because as long as Tim is talking, he cannot harm anyone. Henry changed the tone and gave a human turn to the conversation. The last 3 weeks must have been very difficult for you. Tim replied, Yes, I took the children to San Diego. Have you ever been there? This one line made many things clear. He was just 10 minutes away from the Mexican border, but did not go there. He had returned to Las Vegas. Henry could not understand why someone would do this, but the bigger question was, are his daughters still with him? And then a sound of children's laughter was heard in the background of the phone. Agent Henry Schlump's biggest fear had now come true. It was clearly confirmed on the radio. 2 children are in the room. Repeat, 2 children are present in the room. The SWAT team had surrounded the entire apartment. Every agent was in his place, ready and completely alert. If Team Blackburn became even slightly violent, the hostage rescue operation would have started at that very moment, because now there was not just one fugitive inside. There was his wife, Sophia, and his 2 little daughters. Tim said on the phone, Henry, can't you let us go? Henry Schlump replied directly and calmly, You know I can't do this. There was no fear in Tim's voice, but a tired, broken determination. I'm not going back to jail. Man, I don't want my daughters to meet me in jail. He kept repeating this over and over again. I will not go back to jail. The FBI agents were now in a new fear. Will Tim harm himself or his family now? Henry tried again. Tim, it's time to come out and end everything. Now the situation was very clear. An armed man, mentally broken, locked in a small apartment with his wife and 2 innocent daughters. The motel was completely surrounded by the lights of Las Vegas. Just a short distance away, inside an apartment, the biggest danger of darkness was deepening with every passing moment. Only one thing was echoing again and again in Tim's last words. I'm not going back. That's it. I will not go back. Tim Blackburn was no longer just a fugitive. He was a desperate father who did not want his daughters to see him behind bars. FBI agent Henry Schlump tried everything to convince him to come out and surrender. Negotiators were present there. But Tim did not want to talk to anyone else. He would only talk to Henry. Every time he would repeat, I will not go back to jail. I do not want my daughters to see me in jail. Now, the FBI's effort was to at least get his daughters out of that apartment safely. Henry Schlump would sometimes talk to Sophia, sometimes to Tim, and many times it seemed that maybe things were improving after talking to Sophia. But as soon as she would talk to Tim again, everything would come back to where it had started. Tim had a very deep impact on her. After all, he was her husband. Sophia was scared. She felt that if she leaves from there with the children, Tim would kill himself, and she did not want anything like that. There were constant ups and downs in the conversation. Sometimes it seemed that Tim would agree, and the next moment all hope would be broken. Henry again said, Tim, come now, friend. Now it's enough. But everyone was stunned to hear Tim's next question. Henry, tell me if I shoot myself, where in the head would be the best? He asked this question as if he was about to end everything. Henry felt the breakdown in his voice and immediately tried to calm him down. Tim, we have a lot to talk about. This is not the last resort. Then he asked, how are the children? And Tim replied, I have put them in the bathtub for their safety. The CWAD commander was now more worried than before, because locking the children in the bathtub was not just a security measure, but it could also be a part of a murder-suicide plan. Now time was running out fast. The SWAT team decided that if the situation worsens further, a forceful entry will be made. An explosive charge was set on the door of the apartment so that if needed, they can enter within seconds, and then after 4 hours of long, tiring, and uncertain negotiations, the SWAT team finally entered the apartment. The team went straight to the back bathroom where the children were kept. Every second was now precious and full of danger, and then one last shot was fired. When the SWAT team reached the bathroom, they saw Tim Blackburn falling on the ground, injured by his own bullet. The scene inside was even more horrifying than that bullet. In the bathroom, the SWAT team found Sophia's body and both the girls who were shot in the head. They were still alive, but only barely. The The team took them to the paramedics without wasting a moment, but the children died on the way. SWAT Officer Castle Nishimoto later said, "Our fellow officers tried their best, but still we could not save them. Our mission was to save lives and we failed. It was devastating, like the worst ending to the story." A few weeks later, the postmortem report made it clear that Tim Blackburn first killed his wife, then daughters, and then shot himself. A father who ended everything. A few months later, in Las Vegas federal court, Riley Bates and his girlfriend admitted to keeping the stolen money. They were sentenced to 1 year in prison for cooperating. Blackburn's sister-in-law was also given a year in prison for misleading the FBI and obstructing the investigation, and Tim's brother Robert Bates, who confessed to the bank robbery, was given a 24-year sentence. FBI agent Henry Schlumps has now made his peace with the events. He said, "In the end, Tim was responsible. He came back to Las Vegas to die. I don't think he was ever going to get out of there on his own or let anyone else get out of there. Tim Blackburn chose his own path to doom. But along that path were 2 innocent lives who had never committed any crime. Despite all the efforts of the FBI, those 2 innocent girls could not be brought back. This is not the story of a crime, but of a broken man, whose last battle was first with himself." We will return to Bedtime Historian again with another story full of true suspense. If you find this story interesting, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and stay connected for more such true stories. Thank you.